Chapter 16, Veranda boxes, window boxes, vases, and hanging baskets. Many of the plants ordinarily set outdoors in pots or planted in the flower beds could be much more effectively used in veranda boxes, window boxes, vases, or hanging baskets. The veranda boxes are generally about 8 by 6 inches, made as described on page 9, and of the right length to fit some window sill or the corner or top of a veranda railing. Arrangements for watering should be made as convenient as possible, as this work is almost sure to be more or less neglected during the hot months when it needs frequent and thorough attention. The soil used should be porous and very rich, as many plants will have to get their nourishment from a very limited space. The majority of the plants described in the foregoing pages may be utilized successfully in boxwork. Which ones in any particular case should depend on circumstances, such, for instance, as whether the boxes will be in partial shade or strong sunlight, or whether in a sheltered or a wind-swept position. Iceland poppies are not often seen in the window box, as it takes many blooms to make a good showing. Window boxes are at their best when containing only one or two kinds of bloom. Part of it hangs down. It is not necessary to have your window garden consist of tomato cans or old saucers. A little ingenuity will suggest such improvements as this movable plant table. A favorite combination is Dracaena, nut or butte poitevine, with the variegated vinca as a front border. The lover of plants desirous of artistic effects will not be content, however, to go by fixed rules where so many opportunities for expression of individual taste are offered. There are 2 warnings to be given in addition to the suggestions above. Do not attempt to crowd too many plants into the small space available. Remember that, as a safe rule, the most pleasing results will be obtained by the use of a very few kinds and colors. A good way to be sure of not making mistakes is to fill the boxes to within 3 or 4 inches of the top, arrange the plants, still in their pots, until a satisfactory picture is designed, and then fill up with soil and plant. Vases usually have 3 serious drawbacks. They are very restricted in size. They are exposed to the most drying action of winds and sun, and are not conveniently watered. The last 2 disadvantages can be to some extent overcome by placing them in situations at least partially sheltered and shaded, and by running a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch pipe, which may be bought second-hand for 2 to 4 cents a foot, while good hose cost 16 to 18. Remember, this is back in the early 1900s. A few inches under the sod and up to the top of the vase. Such a pipe should be detached and drained in the fall and will last many years. The few feet running up to the vase will be sufficiently concealed by the vines and reasonably inconspicuous. Where such precautions are not taken, restrict the plants used to those doing well in the heat and a dry soil. One of the best is the ice plant, mesembryanthemum, with flowers of pink or white, very freely produced. There is no prettier way of displaying plants than in the hanging basket, either in the house or on the porch. That one so seldom sees them is undoubtedly due to the fact that few people seem to know how to fill and take care of them. In the first place, the basket should be as large as possible, a size or so larger than you think you ought to have, for what reason you will see in the following. Get a supply of sphagnum moss and line the entire inner surface, sides as well as bottom, an inch in thickness, press down compactly, then fill nearly full of light, rich prepared soil, and put in the plants, something tall and graceful in the center, compact and dwarf growing around this, and vines around the edges. Astonishingly beautiful results may be had with small baskets by using only one sort of plant in each, such as oxalis, ivy geranium, or some trailing flowering vines. Cover the surface of the soil between the plants with clean live sphagnum moss. This will both add to the appearance and conserve the moisture. The best way by far to water hanging baskets is to have them so arranged that they may be taken down easily and allowed to soak until thoroughly wet in a tub or pail of water, which will take some time, as the moss will be like a dry sponge. Let them drain until dripping ceases and hang in place again. If the above method is adhered to, you are sure to meet with success that will prove most gratifying.